So we have a video saying the biggest secret found in Wuthering Waves, which has actually really interested me. Usually, I don't really care about a lot of the lore stuff in Wuthering Waves in terms of like videos and content, but this one actually kind of interested me as, you know, it's got 29k views in a day, which is absolutely insane, and it seems to be very, very liked. So hopefully, you know, this is going to answer some questions, especially with the 1.3 story kind of lore and stuff like that. Because again, a lot of people weren't very happy with the Wuthering Waves 1.3 story. Some were happy, obviously, you know, I think the majority of people were happy with the 1.3 story. But I think, you know, there was a group of people that didn't really like it so much and had some issues with it. So maybe this is going to answer some of these issues. Or maybe, you know, it's something about, maybe it's something like completely different. It's about the wider Wuthering Waves lore, which I'm still pretty interested in anyways. So let's have a look.
There is a Pegasus-like entity that is coming to Wuthering Waves.
Okay, well, that's a pretty strong start. A Pegasus-like entity. I'm actually interested in this.
And it should be
this is a good
chapter. And yes, this is based on a...
So, straight off the bat, this is going to be in the Black Shores chapter. It says official information, which is great. Obviously, you know, there's been a lot of problems with leaks and stuff recently. It's good that this is all official. But Black Shores update, I was saying back whenever we were talking about the 1.3 stuff, whenever we were reacting to Red News video and some other stuff like that, you know, I was saying things like, let's wait until version 1.4 and future versions to see what happens with this story, and maybe this is giving us a wider explanation on what's going to happen in 1.4, and maybe in, you know, 1.5, if that's even a thing. We don't really know what's going to be happening since, you know, 1.4 kind of stuff. But again, I was saying that we needed to hold on to 1.4 to kind of get the full context of 1.3, and not to kind of judge the Black Shores too early, because again, there was a lot of stuff missing in the story, but it could be answered in future parts, and hopefully this Pegasus-like being could be part of the story that's going to answer a lot of our, you know, problems with 1.3.
Official information, and it's way bigger than you think. If you have paid close attention to the Black Shores teaser, there are two frames that show legs and dragon horns on the same creature, considering all the other images are relating to China.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest. I saw a lot of the, you know, Jue stuff. I thought that was really creepy, having like Jue, you know, it looked like he was dead. It was so insane. But I never really noticed a lot of the stuff in the background with that, like, that does look like a Pegasus type thing. You can see like the kind of horse kind of leg things there. I don't know what that hand is. Maybe that's the fallacy of no return. I'm not exactly sure. And that looks a bit like Jinshi there. But again, it is very interesting to look at some of this kind of lore drops and stuff to see, you know, what happens with that. The leaks are getting a bit out of hand. You can't even open up Twitter without seeing leaks. Yeah, it is getting to, you know, a real big problem. And obviously I've made a couple of videos on the main channel talking about this. Yeah, I don't really like seeing it, especially on Twitter. I don't mind if it's on Reddit or like Discord. That's not my problem. That's Kuro Games' problem to sort out. But whenever it's on like Twitter or like another kind of site where they've got like a For You page kind of thing, and it just like pops up and there's like 20 different posts in a row of like leaks, it does get kind of annoying. So I can kind of see, you know, where you're coming from. But yeah, it is getting out of hand. But thankfully, this is all official information apparently. And this is from a lot of the stuff that has come out from Wuthering Waves with a lot of their teaser stuff.
Chinese folklore. This creature is called a Longma, otherwise known as a Quilin, cue the Gonyu music, or a Kirin in Japanese. A mythological dragon horse that is noticeable from its dragon-like horns, horse body, and winged feet.
Please don't add the Adeptus into Wuthering Waves. I don't want the Adeptus, man. I've had too much talking to Zhenya and people like that. Please, no Adeptus.
And yes, they can fly. This is not the only place we see the Longma though. There is
could that be we're getting mounts? That would be so cool. Imagine like next update 1.4, we get to fight this Pegasus thing, and then you get an Echo which you can fly on. God damn, that would be so sick. If you saw with like Azure Pamelia and stuff, that was one of the things that a lot of people were like really excited for, that you have like flyable mounts that you could like, you know, fly on and actually like traverse the world. Imagine how cool it'd be like riding a big like Pegasus thing through the air. Like, oh my god. That would actually be insane. I can't wait to see if like they actually do that.
Shore in the trailer, so we are most likely to see this pretty soon in the game. The caption for the image translates to Weiji. After doing some extensive research, the only two meanings I could find for Weiji is great ambition and the name of a character in the Sovereign of the Three Realms. So my guess is that the name of this Longma is Weiji, and the Three Realms have an adaptation in Wuthering Waves because the very next scene after we see the hoofprint is three symbols.
Oh wait, this is actually part of the rest of the I didn't even notice the cinematic things. I thought he was just adding it there for like extra effects. There's actually a hoof there, which kind of Oh, damn. Okay, that's cool.
With different backgrounds. Anyone knows another meaning for the name, please comment down below. And for interest, the name given to Ju is Shuchu. If you research more into this beast, and all these sources are linked in the description, the Longma is from another dimension called Discordia, which became a dead world. This dimension is connected to Earth, which is in the stellar universe, and the stellar universe is part of the multiverse called Firmament. Firmament is the collection of timelines that are connected by the same cosmic.
Hey, you know where else we've had Firmament, you know? Mount Firmament. It's all linking up. It's all linking up.
And the adaptation in Wuthering Waves also relates Mount Firmament with time. Inside the stellar universe exists the astral plane, which in the source has a striking resemblance to what we know as Tethys Deep. The astral plane is a plane where the metaphysical exists separately, not bound by the laws of physics. And this is the same definition Blackshore has for Tethys, with gravity noted as being the only exception. So it is highly likely that Wuthering Waves is adapting from this collection of stories found.
That is kind of cool to find out. That is some really good research there, just finding out that this all kind of links up. Because again, a lot of these words that they're using do kind of link up with the story, and what he's saying does make total sense, and I could see it actually being added to the Wuthering Waves kind of story. But yeah, that is some very interesting stuff. Now, obviously I talked about in like 1.3 that, you know, the Black Shores was going to be the area that kind of opened us up to a lot of this other lore and a lot of this other kind of stuff. And I definitely think that in the future it will. Like, obviously, you know, 1.3 alone did open us up to a lot more stuff about the Lament and how the Tethys system worked and how a lot of the, you know, kind of Black Shores members, you know, operated and stuff like that, which I think, you know, definitely opened up our world a lot and kind of opened us up to some other regions as well, which might be coming to the game, we might be seeing in the future. But also, I think that in 1.4 and stuff like that, it's going to open us up even more to things like way bigger than just regions. I think it's going to like open us up to who that mysterious person was in the trailer, you know, who this like kind of Pegasus thing that they're talking about is going to be. And I think that's all going to be part of, you know, the wider story and the kind of wider lore of also why, you know, Rover is kind of forgetting a lot of their past memories and being like almost reincarnated back in the same world over and over and over again. So it would be very interesting to see if we had any kind of like slight lore drops on that, because obviously, you know, with Genshin Impact and stuff, we've had these kind of like Archon quests where they do have like a Khaenri'ah kind of arc. You know, you meet up with Dainsleif, he kind of explains the wider kind of lore in the world, which I think is going to be something that they're going to do in Wuthering Waves as well. Kind of have these kind of quests where you can, you know, explore the wider world, not just, you know, the Black Shores, but a lot of these stuff to do with your past and things like that. And that we'll keep coming back to it every now and again, whether that's in the form of a person, which I don't think it will be. I think, you know, Wuthering Waves will have a better story kind of technique to kind of talk about it, other than just a dude that tells you everything that's going on with a certain area that you used to be from. I definitely think that it's going to be a lot of different people getting involved. Obviously the Black Shores and the shorekeeper being a part of it, but it's probably something to do with Abby and things like that. Again, I'm kind of spitballing ideas here, but I definitely think that 1.4 is going to open us up a ton more. And even future updates with the Black Shores is going to open us up a ton more to the wider world. And I've been saying that since 1.3.
Found in the creature world, and the Longma has knowledge beyond Solaris 3 and the most interesting part is the 3 realms adaptation in Wuthering Waves. Generally, in any context, the 3 realms are a celestial or heavenly realm, a mortal realm, and a netherworld realm, which could mean in Wuthering Waves terms, this is the Tethys or the elusive realm, the Solaris 3, and the realm we see during the opening of the game with this figure.
So does that mean we're going to be able to see like that other kind of world thing? Obviously the sense, so who is she? But like, is that going to mean that, you know, we've had a lot of the Solaris 3 stuff of us going around Jinzhou, places like that, exploring that. Now we've had our Tethys system kind of look, we've been into that kind of dimension, and now maybe 1.4 we're going to go into the other dimension. I mean, that would be very, very kind of, you know, I don't know, it'd be very jam-packed to have all in one kind of version, having all of these different kind of layers in one version. I definitely think that's going to be great if they do that, because it's going to be very lore heavy and people are going to be very excited by that. But I don't know if they're going to do it or if they're going to kind of like, you know, split it out a little bit. But yeah, no, it's very interesting, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this in 1.4.
Who is she? Again, the answer is in the creature world. One of the characters perfectly fit the description of the character at the start.
Ananke.
And she goes by the name Ananka Kai.
Okay, that's a bit of AI out there, but okay.
Also called Adrastia, Grim Reaper, Mother Time, or Necessitas. She is the primordial who can see all of time and the inevitable, inescapable grim future. Her job...
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I think whenever we saw the trailer and stuff with her being featured, and we saw like the opening scene and things like that, we kind of knew that she was going to be some kind of powerful being, something along those lines. It definitely seems like, you know, whoever this person is, whether they're called Ananke or whatever their name is, you know, they're definitely going to be strong, and they're definitely going to have a big part in what's to do with, you know, the Rover's lore and everything like that.
Is to make sure that what is meant to happen always happens. This causes eternal sadness for her, knowing all the bad things to come. She doesn't naturally have a form, but she likes to present herself as a female human-like avatar that is thin and ghostly pale, with glowing pale red eyes and long wavy silver grey hair. The same depiction of the person in the opening of Wuthering Waves. To overcome the depression and the only happiness Ananka ever experienced, she has a child. Although Wuthering Waves most likely has a different name for the character, we can be certain this is where the adaptation is from.
So are they suggesting that the Rover could be the child of this person, or this god, or whatever they are? That would be kind of cool, to be honest. Like, obviously we thought it was something different, but a child of this kind of god thing would actually be very interesting to see. And again, it is very cool to see that a lot of these kind of links being made to this other kind of forum or whatever, like that kind of links up with the Wuthering Waves story overall. It would be really interesting to see how much of this is actually true, because it could help us to predict a lot of the stuff that's coming in the story even later on, you know, beyond the version 1, you know, version 2, even version 3 parts of the story. Maybe it's going to kind of set up the wider world and the wider story. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if this forum and this kind of information from this other kind of storyline, I don't know if it's a game or if it's just some kind of like theory thing. I'm not exactly sure on like what they're kind of meaning by that, but it would be, yeah, very interesting to see if they do link up.
The character that Rover seems to be inspired from is Fimbiter, also known as the Seed of Life. This is a sapient from the world tree in the creature world that keeps the universe in balance and is millions of years old. In this story, they are characterized as genderless, and this would allow Wuwa's adaptation to have both male and female Rover as the protagonist. The connection between Ananka and Rover could be a mother-child relationship, where Ananka sends Rover to Solaris 3, a world of lament, to ensure balance.
That would be cool.
That would explain Camellia's reason for calling Rover the Seed of Fate.
That's kind of a like religious kind of thing there, isn't it? Like you kind of throw it back to like, oh, Jesus and God thing. You're technically Jesus just walking on the world at that moment. Like they've just sent you down there to kind of fix everything that's going on with the lament. That's actually a really cool concept that we haven't really seen much in Gacha. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a game out there that does this kind of thing. But it is really cool to see there's this kind of like deeper side to it. Well, potentially, obviously, you know, Kuro Games could go ahead and just not do any of this, and it could be something completely different. But yeah, very cool to see this.
And the reason that Rover is possibly the child of Ananka is because of the smile we see when Rover is awakened. I hope I've explained this well enough that it is easy to follow. There is a striking resemblance of these characters and what we have in Wuthering Waves. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video.
Damn, that is a very, very interesting video. Let me go back. It's called The Biggest Secret Found in Wuthering Waves. I definitely recommend going to go check it out, give it a like, give the person a follow as well, because again, they seem to be doing some very, very cool stuff. Again, it's really cool to see them kind of like doing a lot of that research and linking it back to, you know, a lot of this other kind of forum stuff. It's very interesting to see that, and I hope that, you know, Wuthering Waves do something similar to what they're talking about, because that would be very cool. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I think that would be a cool story, and a lot of the stuff that they're saying makes sense about the Rover and why, you know, there is a male and female Rover. I guess it would kind of, you know, make sense in the story, because again, with like games like Genshin Impact and stuff like that, it's not really explained why you can have two options. It's just like, oh, it's a gacha game, you can have two options. It's not like there's no like lore reason why you can play one or the other. It's just kind of like, well, you know, it's a choose your own story kind of thing. Whereas this actually makes it make sense into the story, which I think would be really cool. And I don't think we're going to see this god thing who's actually featured in the thumbnail for a little while. I think that they're actually going to hold off on this. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more, and they'll tell us like maybe a name or something like that, which will then go ahead and maybe in version 2.0, version 3.0, whatever in the future, they're going to go ahead and kind of, you know, reveal it in the future. But again, I don't think we're going to see it very soon, but it is very interesting to talk about this. So yeah, if you're watching this on the second channel, then I definitely recommend going to go check it out in the link in the description below. It's doing very, very good. Obviously, a lot of people really enjoy this. It's got 2.2k likes. So yeah, go check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much all for that video.